So this is another quick video. This is for Edexcel GCSE Maths, but higher students only, and this is on ratio. Now, some key points about ratio. Something is split between people. That is always common throughout every ratio question. And in every ratio question, you'll be given the ratio, and there will also be something called a real difference. Now, I'm going to explain what that is in this question. Now, bear in mind, not every ratio question will be the same. You might be asked to work out the total number of sweets, how much sweets someone will have, or maybe sometimes you might actually be asked to figure out the ratio, but that is a more complicated question, and I'll go through that in a second video about ratio at some point. So let's just move on to the question. Jimmy, Chuck and Kim share some sweets in the ratio 4 to 5 to 7. Kim got 18 more sweets than Jimmy. Find the total number of sweets. Again, highlight the important information. I mean, my blue pen doesn't work, but I'm highlighting it. So this right here is the given ratio, as mentioned here, and this here is the real difference. So I'm just going to walk through this question and explain what it means. So the difference between Kim and Jimmy is going to be 7 minus 4, which is going to be 3, as Kim has 7 pieces of the sweets and Jimmy has 4 pieces of the sweets. Now we know that this ratio difference of 3 is going to be equal to the actual 18 more sweets, because that is the real difference right here. This is the real difference and this is the ratio difference. Now because of that, we're just going to have to break out some algebra. So we can say this is 3x is equal to 18. Now the x represents almost like a scale factor. So the x is what we do to get from 3 to 18. So what we're just going to have to do is divide both sides by 3, and so we would just simply get x equals 6. Now this isn't the answer, this is just what the scale factor is to get between the actual ratio and the true number of sweets. There's two different ways we could go about it. We could times 6 by 4 and then times 6 by 5 and times 6 by 7 and add them together, but I think it's easier if we just add up how many pieces of the ratio there are. So we do 4 plus 5 plus 7, which will give us 16. Yep, and then we can do 16 times 6 to figure out the total number of sweets, because again this is the scale factor, that's the total number of ratio, and you have to think about that's the total number of ratio. You have to get to the total number of sweets. We know the scale factor is 6, so we're going to do 16 times 6, which is going to give us the total number of sweets as 96. Okay, so this question is for you now. A bar of chocolate is shared between Gus, Mike and Lalo in the ratio 3 to 6 to 13. Mike has 2 more pieces than Gus. How many pieces does Lalo have? Now take some time to pause the video, do the question, and then I'll show the workings out and the answer afterwards. Okay, so I hope you found that better. I hope you noticed that there was a difference. Instead of finding the total number, you had to find how many Lalo had. So you just found the scale factor, you times it by 13, and that gave 8.67 pieces. Obviously you can't have a decimal point of a piece, but I didn't realise that I would get that before I made the question. So yeah, that's the answer, and thanks for watching.